Hello, I am Yoeri Vleer, better known as Luos, and in this second video I'm gonna overhaul, at least attempt to overhaul those glowing floor cracks, which is mostly gonna be Photoshop and a little bit of 3ds Max, and I might try and make them parallax occlusion-ish. Weird bug, but okay. So we want to change this texture, which is basically this. There's a normal map as well, though I might render out a new one. And there's a height map, but I might not even really use that one. But we'll see. Let's go with this texture. I'm gonna export it somewhere. Export. And let's see, UE4, no, I need to go to work. There. Then Celine, the one that actually made this, and save it. And now I need to find that material. And that's here. I'm gonna open it in Photoshop and move OBS over to my other screen where I have Photoshop. Oh, now it is somewhat a nice texture, but I think we can get more out of it. You can easily see some things like a black splotch here, and a black splotch there, and one over here. So we might be able to clean it up a little bit. And that's gonna be quite a challenge. Now I hope that my pens are actually charged and that I can actually find one or two of them. So I can see which ones are actually working. Let's see. Okay, that one isn't working, battery's empty, and that one is actually working. Yay. That does mean that I need to charge the other one. And sadly I cannot find the charger, so that's for another time. Okay. Let's get going. Make a new layer. We might actually want to dull down this layer a little bit, so I'm gonna duplicate it. Control U it, and then just increase the saturation. Actually, no. I'm gonna make a new layer underneath it. Fill it with a bucket, and then just change the opacity of that one, so we at least have a base we can work with. And the cracks itself are nicely shaded, though I think we can clean it up a little bit, make it a little bit nicer, I hope. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit and grab a nice brush. I like this one. I'm not sure how I got it, but I do really like it. So let's see, 9 should be about right. And obviously I need a much higher opacity and another color. Okay. And then just I'm gonna trace over it a little bit. There. I'm gonna add that. And I'm just gonna keep going. Trying to make this work. I might want to tweak it a little bit. See if there's some shape dynamics, size jitter. Control mouse pressure. There we go. I need to put on my glove because my hand is almost glued to my Hyun thingy. Okay, let's see if that works. And there. And now all I have to do is trace, so I might just speed this process up until I'm done. Now that I got the cracks texture drawn in, I'm actually gonna remove the bottom one. So there might be something to be said about the small distortion details in here, but I'm not sure if they are really adding anything super to it. When I look at the material in here, as you can see on the flat plane, if I can find it, where are you? Hello? Ah, there we are. Then there's only a little bit of scratches here and there. I'm not sure if they are really adding anything really super duper to it. I do think personally that when I'm looking at this, then all the small details are resulting in quite a bit of the detail loss. It has some charm to it, but it might be better to just get away with it and maybe just add some normal sparks or whatever to it. Okay, back to the Photoshop part and draw some more. So I can for now remove that one. I'm going to move that layer a bit higher, and I'm going to duplicate it with Ctrl J, then filter, blur, Gaussian blur, just a little bit for the initial startup. That way there's some nice cracking going on, but I'm also going to try lighter overlay, or actually the other one, screen, so that everything's a little bit more white than before in some cases. Okay, that looks a bit better. We might want to add a little bit more to it even though. I'm thinking real quick. It does look quite okay. I think this part here is a little bit odd, so I might actually draw a little bit in here. And I'm gonna have a different brush for now, a very small one. Let's see, that might not work. Just a regular one, I guess then. Of 2 or 3 pixels. I'm not sure why it's so angular though. Ah, there we go. 30 pixels might be a bit too much still. Let's go back to the old one. And we can add some small details to it. So that might take a little while again. I'm going to do it a little bit later. I do want to have another layer on top with another brush. And that one can be a bit of an odd brush. That's all fine. Let me see if I can find an interesting one. I have so many brushes nowadays that I don't even know what to pick from time to time. And I've got quite a few duplicates. This one might look interesting on a small size. And I need to lower the opacity a little bit and tweak some values because I want a jitter size. That's fine. Angle could work. Though it's still a bit too normal. Let me try and find another one. Something that has a bit more variation on the rotation. All the way back up. I think something like this might work. There. Size jitter, minimum diameter is fine. Let's try the scattering. Don't need a texture. Dual brush. Let's see. Something interesting. No lightning, but something like that might work. I got so many annoying there. I'm still not happy with that one. That one might work a bit better. There. Got one. Core dynamics, don't need that. Okay, that should be fine. And what I'm going to do is draw over the initial lighting a little bit and see if that adds something to the edges of the effect. I'm going to do it in the top right here or whatever. This is a new layer, so let's just try something. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then let's go over some of the filters. Just something that adds a little bit of additional detail to it. It can just be a little bit. It's just for fine. Though this looks interesting here. Not what I want to go for. So let's see if there's anything else that might look okayish. Something a bit over the top can also work if I just lower the opacity a little bit. It's a little bit about the micro detail, you know? Actually gonna lower this size a little bit more. And then just quickly draw over it a little bit. It might be a bit too small. Let's try 11. And then just quickly go over it all. So this might be a good moment for me to, again, stop talking and just do a speed record. Well, OBS crashed, so I'm not sure how much of that I recorded. I'm gonna go over it real quick. I made this weird edge match thing. That's something that looks like this. And set it to lighten and a very low value like 10 or 11. Just for a little bit of detail. You might not even notice it. Might not even be worth it, to be honest. But it's something that I actually wanted to do. Now, I'm gonna move that glow layer to the top. I think. Let's see what the difference is. Not much. And I'm gonna duplicate the bottom one again. Wrong button. My microphone is in the way, so that might sometimes be annoying. Move that to the top. I'm gonna do a filter, another Gaussian blur, and different size-ish. And I'm gonna check what looks better. Okay, the soft light looks quite good-ish. And this little bit of noise, I could probably just have rendered out a cloud and made that work. Does work. Okay, what else do we need? Now, I want to be sure that the centers of all these lightning things are actually 100% white. So I'm going to make a new layer and really quickly draw a few lines. Now, a lot of people ask me, how do I make the textures in Photoshop? And I just goof around. I just like random goofing, drawing stuff. And sometimes that works well. Sometimes my results are horrible. So it's just practice. Keep drawing. Find a drawing tutorial or whatever. For another old project that I had to draw a lot, and I mean a lot of nebulas. So I followed like 20 or 30 nebula tutorials. And that really helped me get going with that part of it. And I've also followed some other tutorials that might help. It's like fire tutorials, lightning tutorials. and sometimes I'll never use them again, and sometimes I'll just stick with it. And sometimes I just buy stock photos and use that as a base. So definitely try to find what works for you. Stock photos can be a good base to begin with. I mean, not sure how that works nowadays with textures, because you have substance, quicksel, and that kind of thing. But for VFX, sometimes you want to have a bit more creative feel to it than substance. And I'm not saying that you're not creative when you're using substance, absolutely not. But for some people, it might feel like they are giving away creative reign by using something that's semi-procedural. And that's all up to you, of course. I'm not going to judge you. And you shouldn't be judged. You can use whatever tool you want. I'm also not... Well, I am an Unreal fanboy, but I'm not an anti-Unity fanboy or whatever. If you want to use Unity or another engine, that's totally fine. Use the canvas that you feel comfortable with. And just make what you want. In the end, it's not the canvas that matters. It's what you make with it, right? It's like, don't judge a book by its cover. And some people claim that Unity isn't a good cover, but I don't agree. Just use whatever you feel comfortable with. And if that's Photoshop or Krita or Substance, Quixel, whatever, then use that. I mean, all more power to you. And the same goes for 3D software. Though as a VFX artist, I should probably say that Houdini is probably the best choice now. And yeah, that's coming from an 3ds Max fanboy. Though I wouldn't say fanboy, more like deep shock of Stockholm syndrome. Because I've been using that program for decades now. Okay, control. And it's really hard to let go if you paid so much money for it and paid for a lot of plugins and whatever. And I'm doing this talk because I don't want to record a speed thing again. Now, these lines are very minimal. Sometimes you might not even notice them at all. But that's fine. This is just me micromanaging something that I can probably do way better procedurally or whatever. I think that's enough. There are a few more here. I think I already drew that. I touched this a little bit, yes, and I do think I touched it here as well. Yeah, just in case, go over here. Maybe this was just an excuse of me talking about the whole canvas thing. Okay, that's more than enough. Okay, now we have a new crack thing. I could choose to have a bit more cracks around here. I'm not sure you can see the cursor even, but I think this should be fine. Let's compare it to this one. This one has a little bit more strong edges than mine. So we can maybe Control J the bottom one and move it to the top. And I'll probably need to duplicate it one more time. And overlay it, though might be better if I just kill all these now. It looks somewhat better. And there. Now they should have much stronger edges, yes. And moving that one to the top because that one is the very thin line thing. And I noticed that I forgot to draw lines here, so where was it? Okay. Zooming in a little bit. And a few more strokes of the old brush. Double checking. Okay, all that part as well. Up, up. That's better. There. It's just minimalistic. It's not something super important, but I felt like doing that. And since this is not for a client but for myself, I am allowed to just piss away some of my time. So that's not a good attitude if you're actually working on your game. Sometimes you just have to say, I'm done. It's okay. And just work on something else. Else you just start working on the same thing over and over again until it's perfect. Then you'll notice that the rest of your game isn't. Okay. I think I am fine with this. I want to try something though. Something that I just like doing. I'm gonna flatten the image. And then Control A, Control C, and step back a few times, and then Control V so that I have that actual layer. I'm actually gonna do it one more time and just go over some of the filters. Sometimes it's just fun to see whatever works. So let's check the filter gallery. I wonder if it's loading. There we go. And then just see if there's something interesting in there that might work. I mean, this one is actually nice because there's like these weird edges around it. So I'm gonna remember the cutout. And inverted, this actually also looks cool. And sometimes this can help finding just some interesting detail. Sometimes the watercolor is really nice as well because it smooths out some of the edges. So cutout and watercolor. Anything else that's interesting? This could work for liquids actually, but okay. For heavily stylized stuff, okay, let's try all the way to the top. The watercolor might work. Texture, no. The cutout maybe fine. Number of levels. Edge simplicity. And suddenly we have something artistic. Edge fidelity. So let's try and apply a filter to that. Let me zoom in a little bit. Nah. Nothing super special, so I'm probably just gonna screen or lighten it. And it's just that little detail that might actually work. Okay, I can actually live with this. So Control 0 to zoom out. I'm gonna save as a Photoshop file, save, and save as a PNG. And I'm gonna save that. Okay, now I'm gonna move over to Unreal again real quick. Need to put away my drawing tablet. Give me a few seconds. All right, let's grab that material. I was actually trying some parallel occlusion mapping, and I might show you that in a bit. For now, I want to re-import that T-Cracks one. And there we go. Now, the normal map might not be totally adherent again. We might actually use Photoshop to pick out a normal in a bit. But in the particle system, it now looks like this. And there is a little bit of a problem with the opacity. I might need to tweak that a little bit. Though, one other thing, I need to set this to alpha. And that will give a few errors, but I'll fix those. And this needs to be effects. And I think that's all. I don't need anything on the compression. sRGB is now done. So this I'll fix later because it's not important at the moment. And this needs to be linear color, or actually alpha. There we go. Waiting a few seconds again. Ready to load. And I did something wrong in my Photoshop file, I think, because the background is not fully black. Oh boy. I need to double check that in Photoshop again, so turn this on, grab my pen, quickly grab my drawing pen and double check if this was actually fully black. And it is. So I wonder what's going on. Well, an easy way to see what's going on is just to merge everything again. Oh, I don't need a depth-of-field angle. Okay, Control A, Control C, Control Alt Z, Z, oh, and Control V. And I want to check this value. Ouch. Okay, well, image adjustments. Oh, I just like to and double check those values again. Still. Oh. No, come on. Image adjustments. Sometimes with the pen this is so annoying. Let's try that real quick. Still. Okay, other here. Image. Okay, auto contrast worked. I should have done that as first and then just save as PNG. Save. Okay. Smallest compression, yada yada yada. Turn off the tablet. Find this texture, re-import. And there we go. Alright. Putting away my tablet again. And I hope all my voices were recorded properly because sometimes I was quite far away from the microphone. Let's see. It could use a little bit more glow, but we can fix that later. Particle colors controlled through that, emissive color. Actually, in this case, I might want to try and combine those. Now, I don't really need the world position offset, but we can fix that later as well. Saving. Saving has been slow today, I'm not sure why. Yeah, I want a little bit more glow. So, one more time back to Photoshop, hopefully the last time. I'm just gonna duplicate the layer. Then filter, blur, Gaussian blur. 6.3 should be fine, and then just lighten our screen. I think lighten works better. Let's try Gaussian blur one more time. Save as PNG. And hope for the best. Alright, and ground level. Oh. Textures, re-import. Okay, now there's at least some glow next to it. That's nice. That's better. Now, I wouldn't spawn this many in it either, so let's see how this is set up. It starts with 20 and ends with 70. I'm gonna try 10 and end with 35. We might want to change the initial size as well. I'm gonna try that in a bit. There's a min and a max value, so 4, 4, 4, 2, 2, 2. Is there a way to use extremes? There we go. And at the end, it kind of works, I think. And my dog wants to say hello, so if you hear a dog moving about, then you know why. I want to make sure that those are about the same size in the beginning. There. It might still be too much though. I'm not entirely sure. That's something I'll tweak over the course of this whole thing. I'm gonna do this 0.3 perhaps. And I might add an initial location cylinder, so that there's a little bit more variation on where they are spawned. I don't need the top or the bottom. I don't need any velocity. And you might be able to change the radius a little bit, give or take. Let me think. You can try surface only. But then there are gaps, so let's not go there. And yeah, I'll tweak this a bit more down the road. Let's do 6 here, for now 22 here. And check the mesh rotation. Not exactly sure why. It's rotated this way. I wonder. Mesh rotation. That's an odd number. This mesh must have been rotated very weird in max or whatever. Okay, so eventually I might want to spawn 2 rows of this. But for now, this might be okay. And I'll probably add some gradient effects so that they don't just exist like that. I want to make them fade in a little bit differently. And we could try a radial gradient for that, but I'm not sure. We can try real quick. Radial gradient, actually, sphere. What was it called again? 2D. Where are you? Sphere gradient 2D. Move this up a little bit. And we don't really need the normal map in this case, so I'm actually just gonna go with a surface, and I'll make it mask might actually work, but let's go for translucent, unlit. There. We're gonna get a particle relative time. That way I don't need to control it, and I want it to be about 3 times faster than its normal lifetime, so I'm gonna actually multiply that by 3. So in about 1/3 of its life, it should fully show this texture. And I need to make sure that it doesn't go over 1, so I'm going to saturate it, which is basically a clamp that clamps from 0 to 1. And actually I need to go with the radius. Normally it's O.5, so I might actually clamp it at O.5, but we'll see what it does in this case. And this we're going to multiply with the opacity. And there shouldn't be anything, and to show you what's going on, I'm gonna add a time sign just to show you what's going on. Might be going a little bit too fast now. Can we preview this part? It's doing a little bit of an odd thing here sometimes. I'm not sure what's going on there. Might be the vertex normals world space that are messing up, so I'm actually gonna disable that for real quick. Let's see what it looks like in this effect here actually. Not doing much. What is the lifetime? Within 1 second they should be shown, but so O.5 and 0, I think. Might be the inverted way, of course, but I want to see what's going on. Wait, initial location. Ah. That is odd. Why are you not suddenly moving anymore? Oh wait, of course. Derp. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Expand all. I forgot that this was used to move it all about. There. It should be just a little bit higher than. Well, no, that sphere mask might be acting really weird. Let me grab this one then. Luos radial gradient is basically just a sphere mask with some additional values, and it starts with O.5 for this one, O.5 for that one, O.5 for that one, and this just gets a texture coordinate node. Let me use that. In this case, I'm gonna plug this into the radius. And I want to see if everything's working properly now, so I'm gonna preview this with the debug time sign. There we go. That works more properly. And I need to invert this, so 0 to O.5. We might be able to go for 1 even, but let's see. Okay, those cracks are still a bit too slow, so let's multiply this with like 5 maybe? still too... Oh hell, let's try 10. I should probably do this in the material function, which is a little bit faster, but that looks better. Might go with something even faster. Let's try 15 or so. That does look a bit more natural. But how does it look in here? You don't really see them now. That might also be with the bump offset. That's why Celine probably had them higher before. So it is sort of fine. I do think that we might want to go with a little bit bigger initial size now. And that should be fine. Let's move them up a little bit for now. Let's say 15. It should be much higher now. Yeah, okay, let's see what that does real quick. Because for me it's almost dinner time now. That looks somewhat okay. Now I'm probably gonna add some parallel occlusion mapping to them, which is way too expensive for normal use, but it will give some nice depth to those cracks as well. And I might want to make them a little bit bigger and do something else to the mesh so that the lines are way more sharp, regardless of how big that mesh is. So let's start with 5, 5, 5 and 4, 4. And end with something like 3 and 2 for now. Additionally, I'm gonna go to the curve editor and make them all a little bit smoother. And there. And to be honest, I will be fine if the last few parts are actually much bigger. I might actually spawn a separate one in here, but we'll see. There. The cracks do look more natural now when they are growing a little bit. Even though it's fast, it's just that little bit that adds something to it. One last moment looking in here. And there we have the new cracks. Now I am gonna update the mesh on which the cracks are put, and I'll show you that in the next video. And I might add some parallax occlusion mapping. I'm not sure. It would add something nice to it, and I can really quickly show you what it does. So materials. This was just a small test I did. Where are you pixel depth? I think. Okay, this needs to be set to alpha. And this one as well. And let me add it to a flat plane. As you can see, there's a little bit of depth to it. And that looks quite nice, though as you can see the instructions are somewhat high. And I might need to tweak it a little bit. We can make it a bit deeper in here, like 35 or so. And there you have now it's much deeper crack. And when you align that to the floor, let me do that real quick. Static mesh, pardon, where there meshes. This is the plane, and I'm gonna find the material, drag and drop it in here. Wait a few seconds for it to work. Please work. Come on. Thank you. I'm gonna rotate it 90 degrees and move it close to the floor. Way more close to the floor. And there. Oh, Oops. Why is it rotated so weird? There we go. Now it looks like there's a little bit more depth in those cracks, and that sometimes might be worth it. If you invert the mesh, then you get cracks that are from the center and there. But this looks actually quite nice, though from a distance it might add something nice to it though. I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna use it, but we'll see. Okay, that was that. That's for later. Alright, I'm gonna call it quits for now. Record the video, at least compress the video, render the video, etc, blah blah blah, upload it. And I'm gonna hit the gym later today. Okay, take care. Have a nice weekend almost.